All right, this is just a quick review of Pythagorean theorem, distance formula, and midpoint. For this first problem, it's just a right triangle, and so you're missing a side, so we're going to use Pythagorean theorem. So a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So the two sides that make up the right triangle are your a, that make up the right angle are your a and b. So x squared plus 15 squared equals 21 squared. And how you know which one is C is if you will find out which one is your right angle and go across from there, that's going to be your C, okay? So 21 is your C. So x squared plus 15 squared equals 21 squared. And then just do the math. 15 squared is 225. 21 squared is 441. Subtract 225 from both sides. And then take the square root of 216, okay? Some of the problems you can just use your calculator and get a decimal for that, but some of them you're going to have to simplify the radical. So 36 is a perfect square that goes into 216. So we rewrite 216 as 36 times 6. Square root of 36 is 6, so we get 6 root 6. Now, if you didn't see that 36 went into it, let's just say you saw 4. So you could write it as 4 times 54. And then square root of 4 is 2, and you're left with 54 under the radical. And then you change 9, or 54 to 9 times 6. And then the square root of 9 is 3. So 3 times 2 gives me a 6 on the outside. And you're still left with a 6 under the radical. If you need extra help on Pythagorean theorem or distance formula, I've already posted some notes on those. So you can look back at the announcement from last week for more help on that. Here we're going to use distance formula or Pythagorean theorem because you're looking for the length of segments. So to find the length of segment EF, since you have a graph to look at, I would just use Pythagorean theorem, draw your right triangle, and look at your vertical and your horizontal distance. So 3 squared plus 4 squared equals c squared. Just use Pythagorean theorem on it. So that gives you 9 plus 16, which is 25. Square root of 25 is 5. Now, you can also use distance formula. If you use distance formula, though, you got to find your ordered pairs. So F, you got to go to the left 5 and up 5. And then E is at negative 2, 1. So label your points x1, y1, x2, y2, and then plug into your distance formula. What some people miss on the distance formula here is they do x of 2 minus x of 1, so they do negative 2, but then they just put minus 5. But it's not minus 5, it's minus a negative 5, which is really plus positive 5, okay? And then y2 minus y1 is 1 minus 5 squared. So that right there is really 3 squared plus a negative 4 squared, because negative 2 plus 5 is 3, and then 1 minus 5 is negative 4. Well, 3 squared is 9, and then negative 4 squared is 16. So 9 plus 16 is 25, and take the square root, so again you get 5. So they have the same length, so they are congruent. Now I will also show you, oh wait, I hadn't done the GF yet, GH yet, hold on. Alright, so there's GH. Use Pythagorean theorem again. So 3 squared is 9, 4 squared is 16, square root is 5. So that's, they're right there. Now I know that they're the same length. They are congruent because they both had a length of 5. Alright, and this one, it just says find the midpoint. Midpoint is the same thing as the average. So find the average of your x's, find the average of your y's. Average means add them together and divide by how many you have, so add them together and divide by 2. So for that one, our x's are negative 8 and negative 2. Add them together, that's negative 10. Negative 10 divided by 2 is negative 5. And then for your y's, 3 plus 7 is 10. 10 divided by 2 is 5. So your midpoint, remember, is an ordered pair. Your x value is negative 5. Your y value is 5. On this one, it's different. This time they give you the midpoint, and you're looking for the other endpoint. So put your midpoint in the middle. So 6, 1 is the midpoint. The reason I know that, it tells me in the problem. 2, 7 is the other endpoint, and then you're looking for the other endpoint. Look at the pattern. Look at your x values first. This problem basically says 6 is in the middle of 2, and what other number? So you're starting at 2 and going up to 6, so you had to add 4. So just add 4 again, and that'll make 6 be in the middle. Okay, and then, so look at 7 to 1. Look at your y values. From 7 to 1, I went down that time. I went down by 6. So subtract 6 again. So 1 minus 6 would give me -5. So there's your endpoint, 10, -5. I'll do one more problem just like that one. It says S is the midpoint, so -1, 1 is going to go in the middle. And then the other endpoint is R, so it's -6, -1, and then we're looking for T, the other endpoint. So again, the problem basically says -1 is in the middle of -6 and what other number? But if you just look at your pattern, from -6 to -1, we went up by 5. So we added 5. So add 5 again. -1 plus 5 would make 4. And then on your y's, you're at -1 going to 1. So you went up by 2. So go up by 2 again. And that's how we got 3.